13 cards, 1 sending off. We should note, by the way, this is old hat for Andres Iniesta. It was just 14 months ago playing for Barcelona, stoppage time goal to put Barca through against Chelsea into the Champions League final. But when the Dutch go home and look at themselves in the mirror as a footballing country, and you've heard the criticism, it was not artistic, some would say cynical, 13 cards and a sending off. What will they see and what will they say to themselves?
You know, no, we will be... of course, getting criticized, I think, also.
And rightfully?
I think, no, by the rest of the world, for sure. In Holland, we will be, you know, easier on the squad. I think there's a lot of talks going to be about the fact that, you know, they didn't get the corner when they had the free kick, when it, you know, bounced off the wall. But, you know, on the end, if you look at it, you know, you have to give compliments to Spain because they tried in this game every time they tried to attack. They were easy also to defend because they all go to the middle, they don't go over the flanks, there's no crosses coming in. So therefore it was easy also for Holland to defend, but they tried over again. And Holland, they had one of the greatest chances with Robben, and they didn't score that moment. Here it is 1 against 1, you had a great chance. You could have nicked this game because that's what it is. You could nick it, you know.
And the irony also, the other attempt that he had in a game full of cards, he could have gone down, and Stecklenburg there could have taken a dive, chose not to. In a game where others would say people were playing cynically. Well, exactly. At the height of irony, he had a moment there.
Yeah, that was the moment for him. He thought that he could still do something with it, but I think Casillas sussed him out that he would go to Casillas' left, so therefore it became difficult for him. But you know, overall, I think that Holland, this team, get the best out of it. I think to get to the final, there was a possibility. I think that in Holland, nobody gonna see the octopus anymore. I think he has to be very careful about his life, this octopus, because...
The psychic octopus, Paul, in Oberdorf, Germany. Let me ask you about Bert van Marwijk. It was a small moment, but was rather telling. The Dutch go up first after the referees get their accreditation and their medals for participating. And the Dutch get the third-place medals, and Van Marwijk took the medal, put it around his neck, shook hands with all the officials, heads of state, royalties, and as soon as he walked off the podium, he took that sucker right off. He wants no part of it.
No, you don't want to have a medal for the second place. You know, you're disappointed. I understand that he's disappointed. He will, you know, rewind this whole game over and over again, and he will think about the chance that he had. He knows he didn't play the best football. He knows that. But there was a slight chance that you could nick it. But compliments again to Spain. I want to say also to everyone, thank you for ESPN hosting me, because it was a pleasure working with you, Bob, all the other guys also. Thank you also for the American public for your patience also with us.
Well, it's been a movable feast all month working with you, my friend, and we've become good buddies, and I do appreciate that. And Chris, so I send it back. Certainly, it's going to be a huge party throughout the nation of Spain, and we can recite the list of accomplishments athletically for Spain. Alberto Contador, the Tour de France. Pau Gasol with the NBA championship ring, certainly. Rafa Nadal, he was here in attendance this evening. There's a guy in his early 50s back in Pedrena, Spain, Sevi Ballesteros, who's feeling the ravages of 4 different operations for brain cancer, sitting at home tonight, watching the days and months pass by on the eve of the Scottish Open, British Open, not well enough to get to Scotland to play in the Champions 4-hole tournament. And I have to imagine that this championship tonight brings a special warmth to his Spanish heart.
Spain, the winners of the 2010 FIFA World Cup. That after a 1-0 triumph in the final itself against the Dutch. Derek Ray here in the studio, joined by Janusz Mihalik and Steve Nicol. Steve, let me start with you. Has the right team won this World Cup?
Yes, I think definitely the right team has won. Before the game, I think we hoped Spain would win, but after the way that the Dutch played and the way they behaved during the game, yes, Spain deserved to win the game. A football team won.
For all that, Janusz, throughout the tournament, Spain seemed to have another gear to go to. They weren't at their brilliant best, were they?
No, they weren't, but I think the most important thing about Spain is that they stay true to their strengths, and I think that's always important. You know, obviously, I mean, such a big disappointment, opening match against Switzerland, even though they could have won that game, you know, go against the run of play, I suppose. Good defending. I think there was a message to Spain what this World Cup is going to be about, because I think they get so much respect from other teams. They understand they have to sit back because Spain can easily take them apart, and I think they grew in strength. They weren't phenomenal. I think in any of the matches, with the exception, tactically, I think you and I will appreciate that against Germany. It wasn't a great game.
Semi-final.
A semi-final. I think they were very good. But, you know, their key players weren't at best. And I'm talking not just about Torres, but I'm talking about Iniesta and Xavi. They were good, but not great.
Yeah, good, but they weren't poor. They didn't disappoint. It's just that I think we all expect that Spain can play the way that they did, for example, at Euro 2008.
Well, I think what Spain do best is get in amongst you and get it behind you. You know, they play the wee quick 1-2s, particularly around the edge of the box, and they get in behind you and hurt you that way. You know, they're not really wanting to fling balls in the box and, you know, stuff like that. They really want to pass the ball through you. And when you're playing against teams who have 9 and 10 men sitting on the edge of the box, there's no space, and it makes it real difficult. And it means it has to be something brilliant that's going to break through. But overall, they came out, they set their stall out, and they went after teams.
Were the Dutch tactics correct, Janusz, in this final? We've used the word resilient, pragmatic to try to describe Holland in this World Cup. Not typically Dutch words when it comes to international football.
I mean, I'm a little bit divided on it, because at first we've seen the great Dutch teams in years past, and even in the last Euros, you know, remember great wins against France and Italy, and then of course going out to Russia, surprisingly. So I think they've changed their approach a little bit, and Van Marwijk has said it, that there's no longer total football. So on that hand, you got to give them some credit, because they have gotten better as well, you could say, although I think we've talked about they should have been out of the tournament against Brazil. But still, the approach in this match was just not right, I think. You know, there's a couple players there that just wanted to kick the lumps out of the
I mean, he was correct when he said that total football was no more, and they proved it today. I mean, sometimes you have to do what you have to do to win a game, and certainly they knew they had to be tight and they had to defend well and upset the Spanish. But the tactics they used to do it, I mean, they were lucky that they didn't have more than just Haiti get sent off.
Yeah. All right. Well, Spain certainly worthy winners of the 2010 FIFA World Cup. My thanks to Steve and to Janusz. We'll talk to you again soon.